Hi everyone, my name is Tongxin Zhang, and the other two in our group are Siwei and Sijia. We are going to report the emergency response. This is our content. The first part is an emergency introduction. We first use the Australian Disaster Resilience Knowledge Hub to look at emergency response in Australia since 2000, selecting the more remote areas of the Northern Territory. We also selected to the Nukur community from the map of Indigenous Australia. Nukur is a remote Aboriginal community on the banks of the Rope River in southern Arnhem Land, Northern Territory in Australia. Nukur is one of the largest Aboriginal communities in the Rope Gulf region, with over 1,000 people living there. Nukur has a huge impact on the daily lives of their residents every year due to flooding. During floods, the Rope River, located next to Nukur, rises due to increased rainfall, and the community's drainage system is unable to do its overloaded job, which results in Nukur residents' access to the outside world being blocked by flood waters and isolated from the outside world for 2 to 3 months. The second part is site analysis. There are two causes of the Nukur flood, one being topography and the other climate. Although the community of Nukur is situated on a 190-meter hillside, the community is closely connected to the Rope River. When large amounts of rainwater flow into the Rope River, residential roads are blocked, and raising the height of roads and bridges is a possible solution. The Nukur community is located in a region that has higher temperatures and rainfall from November to April, which is their wet season, and dry season from May to October. This is a chart of the average temperature and rainfall for the Nukur flood. Now I will hand over to Sijia, who will continue to talk about site analysis.
Thanks, Tongxin. Nukur has a comprehensive calendar that combines traditional and Western knowledge, not only to help us understand the land better, but also to contribute to the heritage of indigenous knowledge. The plant in the area is diverse, which is of significance to the life of the local populations and the environment. Local plants such as melaleucas have an varieties of use for food, medicines, and building materials, and it has wood cleansers and anti-inflammation effect. These plants also play an important role in environmental protections and response to nature disasters. However, vegetation can be a problem for relief efforts in case of floods. Nukur ecosystem include animals such as emus, cranes, and catfish, which have a significant impact on the communities. It is vital to respect and protect these species. However, these animals can separate various during floods, which can affect the environment and humans. Balancing animals' behavior with this need to prevent distribution to human activities and potential hazards is critical. As floodings can expand the habits of saltwater crocodiles, it makes their swimming range more wider. These large unwelcome visitors can move into flood plains, creating a threat and nuisance for inhabitants. In addition to some of the mentioned flora and fauna impediments to the area, Nukur also has some potential hazards, such as the increased risk of forest fire due to dry weather in Nukur. Yugumangi Ranges, which is an Aboriginal range teams, reduce the risk of fire by trimming the surrounding vegetation to form the shelter belt. We can combine traditional ecological knowledge and modern technology to enhance flood capacities by collecting and storing water resources during the rainy seasons. For example, the Nile River used flood irrigations to remove sediment, leaving behind rich soil and improving land use. In Nukur, storing and reusing flood waters help to retain soil and moisture and mitigate the effect of the dry season. For the next part, I will discuss some cultural value for better knowing this land. Nukur, located in the Kathleen district of the Northern Territory, approximately 80 kilometers inland from the coast, is one of the important Aboriginal communities in Southeast Ireland. The community is inhabited by 21 tribals and linguistically diverse groups who call themselves Ugumengi. In 1845, Lewis named the Roper River. By 1908, the Anglican Church established the Roper River missions. In 1940, the mission moved upstream due to the floodings. In 1988, the Ugumengi Communities Government Council and the Nukur Community Education Center were established. Nowadays, Nukur has its own community school, which offers a preschool through 12th grade programs that teach foundation courses such as reading, writing, spelling, etc., and some traditional language. Full-time Aboriginal students are 98% of the 2023, and the majority of the students have non-English language backgrounds. Due to the many different groups of Aboriginal people present in Nukur area, the local language is very diverse. While in Nukur, 84% of the people speak Creole, we should incorporate language and culture into the design to ensure that it is understood by all residents. Nukur has its own art website that belongs to these communities, where the works of the artists from Nukur. Because of this, there is no unique style of local art, which better reflect cultural diversities. There is also a project on the website in collaboration with the Nukur language centers, which support local people to tell stories in their language. Two separate religions are practiced in the area. One, Christianity, influenced by Anglican churches influenced on the Aboriginal people in 1908, and other from the native traditional religions. As for ceremonies, Guna Pipi and Yabudaroa are the main ceremonies of Nukur, and all are encouraged to participate to bring the whole community together. Australian relationship with Aboriginal people has experienced a shift from ignorance, direct control to indirect controls, from protectionist and assimilationist policies to the 1964 Social Welfare Act and the 1967 referendums, to the policy of the self-determinations and the gradual achievement of equality. If in the design process the local culture should be respected, local language should be used as much as possible, and elements that are not respectful of the culture should be avoided. Cultural influence on the design needs to take into account cultural diversities and traditional style, such as multi-language notice boards and the local architectural styles, to ensure that members of the community can understand and identify with the design.
The economic and employment environment in the Nukur community is low. The economic burden percentage for the Nukur area is 2.8. This means that for every Aboriginal person who is employed in the area, there are 2.8 other Aboriginal people who are not employed. Referral payments are made regularly to a large number of people in the area, so poverty levels in the area are still high. In this graph, incomes in the region are in the range of $6,000 to $10,000, with the women having higher personal incomes than men, but with an Aboriginal income of about $25,000 for non-Aboriginal people in the North Territory. Their Aboriginal annual incomes in these areas are generally within a range set for welfare receipts. Now the community of Nukur has a grocery shop called the Nukur General Store, which is located in the center of the Nukur community. The shop was founded in 2008 to help improve the health and nutrition of local people, to help train and employ local people, and to boost the economy. The next section is about the inhabitants with special needs. After the introduction of the basics, we can see that in this area there is undeveloped medical care. Low economic, inadequate infrastructure, and poor educational environment. The residents with the most special needs are the elderly and the unhealthy. Although the indigenous people considers that the elders are not disabled and reckon this is a normal part of aging, according to the criteria established by the World Health Organization, the elderly and the physically challenged belong to the special needs category because they are unable to carry out their activities in a normal human manner and are unable to carry out their normal duties or perform them in a normal way. The community has only one clinic and is at the bottom of camp, which is undeveloped as many people are entertained every day. The infrastructure is not well developed, and during the rainy season, the infrastructure is easily damaged. So their infrastructure is only basic, so medical and infrastructure as their special needs. We believe that the equality of life in the community can be improved by organizing community events that involve them equally, in addition to the designing accessible recreational space in the community. At the same time, the feasibility of community and public facilities can be improved by ensuring that public buildings and areas are accessible to the elderly and disabled through the construction of barrier-free facilities and step-free entries. Finally, healthy service can also be updated by building better equipped health centers and increasing the number of mobile clinics to assess patients who are unable to move around. The next part is about potential dangers to these inhabitants. The first point is slow action in emergency situation. Because of their mobility problems, they are at high risk during emergency. Mobility is an important factor in the safe evacuation of elder persons and persons with disabilities, and mobility difficulties not only directly affect their abilities to evacuate in a timely manner, but may also affect the speed of evacuation of the normal population. Those with visual and hearing difficulties may not be able to receive evacuation information effectively and may be affected. Secondly, inadequate infrastructure can increase the risk of accidents and injuries for older persons and persons with disabilities. The first solution is to educate the vulnerable about the importance of disasters and to provide different types of disaster evacuation training for different groups of people in order to reduce the risks of disasters occurring. Another solution is to improve the infrastructure to ensure that it meets their special needs, which not only reduce the risks to the general population, but also reduce the risk of accidents for them. The last part is about chronic issues and potential issues. This is a mind map about the nuclear community. Here are the issues in this community and the ways to solve them. The right to healthy basic human rights and education are affected. Firstly, the nuclear community has limited access to comprehensive healthy care and lacks of adequate medical facilities and staff. So the solution is to update medical facilities to establish better supported medical centers and increase mobile clinics. Secondly, the infrastructure of the community is inadequate, with house roads and utilities is disrepair or too old, while during the rainy seasons or when disaster strikes, the infrastructure is not able to ensure their basic living conditions. Therefore, it's possible to update the infrastructure to ensure their basic standard of living, designing and construct durable housing, and improve the comfortable of a house. Updating infrastructure to ensure access to clean water and healthy facilities. Finally, there is the issue of education, where educational resources and opportunities are often limited, with a shortage of teachers and inadequate school facilities. Therefore, educational resources can be made available. Suitable educational programs can be developed, taking into account the local cultural context, and awareness of the importance of education can be raised in order to avoid falling into the cycle of poverty. About potential issues, the right to a safe environment and the right to work and to a standard of living are be influenced. It is vulnerable to the effects of climate change, such as isolation from the outside world during the rainy season and flooding. So we can enhance the ability of infrastructure to withstand disasters and ensure that it can safeguard their lives and security in the event of a disaster. The next is in remote areas tend to have a slower economic development and few employment opportunities. So involve the local people while building infrastructure and also allow them to own their own small business, such as the nuclear general store. They can be provided with job training and more employment opportunities to drive economic development.
The fourth part is a framework. We refer to the precedent of two different flood response systems, the first being the flood response system in India. For both floods, the similarity between the two is that messaging is not timely, and this flood response system solves that problem. The second is unmanned area systems, which can provide an efficient and rapid flood response, as well as rapid scope lockdown and complete deployment of personnel in the event of an emergency response speed that nuclear lacks. This is a framework we have collected and comparing the existing situation in nuclear with the National Emergency Response Framework. Nuclear lacks some preventive measures such as real-time monitoring. Also, nuclear has lagging weather warning information and lacks information dissemination on natural disasters to the population. Nuclear cannot also deal with disasters while they are in progress, such as rapid targeting of the location and extent of the disaster, insufficient shelters, and unclear signage. The fifth part is the best precedence. The area of architecture design is the scalable emergency shelter, and in the case of the nuclear flood emergency response, shelters are usually installed in gyms or large grounds. A quickly installed emergency shelter can provide residents a more comfortable environment during the disaster. The industrial design area is air-rope, which is safer for emergency evacuation of people during floods. In the field of textile design are Mylar emergency blanket, which ensure the body temperature of persons at low temperatures. The field of graphic design uses emergency signs, where visual emergency signs are more effective than textual messages for special populations such as elderly children. The area of interaction design is emergency alert systems, where prediction and timely information delivery before a disaster help reduce economic losses and human suffering. This is our reference. That's all for our presentation.